May the peace of the Lord be with you all. Today's Gospel Reflection, August 4th, 2025, Monday. The children of Israel lamented, "Would that we had meat for food. We remember the fish we used to eat without cost in Egypt, and the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and the garlic. But now we are famished. We see nothing before us, but this manna was like coriander seed, and had the color of resin. When they had gone about and gathered it up, the people would grind it between millstones, or pound it in a mortar, then cook it in a pot and make it into loaves, which tasted like cakes made with oil. At night, when the dew fell upon the camp, the manna also fell. When Moses heard the people, family after family, crying at the entrance of their tents, so that the Lord became very angry. He was grieved. "Why do you treat your servant so badly?" Moses asked the Lord, "Why are you so displeased with me, that you burden me with all these people? Was it I who conceived all this people? Or was it I who gave them birth? Did you tell me to carry them at my bosom, like a foster father carrying an infant, to the land you have promised under oath to their fathers? Where can I get meat to give to all this people? For they are crying to me, 'Give us meat for our food.' I cannot carry all this people by myself, for they are too heavy for me. If this is the way you will deal with me, then please do me the favor of killing me at once, so that I need no longer face this distress."
Responsorial Psalm. Sing with joy to God our help. My people heard not my voice, and Israel obeyed me not. So I gave them up to the hardness of their hearts. They walked according to their own counsels. Sing with joy to God our help. If only my people would hear me, and Israel walk in my ways. Quickly would I humble their enemies. Against their foes I would turn my hand. Sing with joy to God our help. Those who hated the Lord would seek to flatter me, that their fate would endure forever. While Israel I would feed with the best of wheat, and with honey from the rock I would fill them. Sing with joy to God our help.
The Holy Gospel according to Matthew. When Jesus heard of the death of John the Baptist, he withdrew in a boat to a deserted place by himself. The crowds heard of this and followed him on foot from their towns. When he disembarked and saw the vast crowd, his heart was moved with pity for them, and he cured their sick. When it was evening, the disciples approached him and said, "This is a deserted place and it is already late. Dismiss the crowd so that they can go to the villages and buy food for themselves." He said to them, "There is no need for them to go away. Give them some food yourselves." But they said to him, "5 loaves and 2 fish are all we have here." Then he said, "Bring them here to me." And he ordered the crowds to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he said the blessing, broke the loaves, and gave them to the disciples, who in turn gave them to the crowds. They all ate and were satisfied, and they picked up the fragments left over, 12 wicker baskets full. Those who ate were about 5,000 men, not counting women and children. The Gospel of the Lord. Reflection. Our world today is overwhelmed by scarcity, including time, resources, love, and compassion, and it is easy to adopt a mindset of survival rather than generosity. We guard what we have, fearing it may not be enough. But in one of the most tender and powerful moments recorded in the life of Jesus, we're reminded that with God, not enough becomes more than enough, especially when shared in faith. The scene begins in a time of sorrow and retreat. Jesus had just received news of John the Baptist's death. Seeking solitude, he withdrew to a quiet place. Yet, as always, people followed. Instead of sending them away, Jesus welcomed the crowd, healed their sick, and later, fed them all. The story is often referred to as the feeding of the 5,000, though in truth, that number only included to include women and children. The crowd is much larger. The disciples saw the problem first. Evening was approaching, and they had neither food nor money to feed such a multitude. Their solution was practical: send the people away. But Jesus challenged them, "You give them something to eat." That statement still echoes today. When we see suffering, injustice, or need, we often assume someone else, perhaps the government, a charity, or a wealthier person, should respond. But God's way is participatory. He involves us in his miracles. Take the disciples' initial response. We only have 5 loaves and 2 fish. In our modern language, that might sound like, I only have a small salary, I only have a few hours of free time, or I only know a few people who care. But the miracle began not with abundance, but with surrender. They gave what they had, even if it seemed laughably small, and placed it in the hands of Jesus. That act of surrender and trust became the turning point. Today, the same principle applies. Imagine a single mother who decides to start a small food-sharing corner in her community. She begins with just a few packs of rice and canned goods. Soon, neighbors contribute. The idea grows, not because she was rich, but because she acted in faith. Or consider a group of young people who organize weekend classes for children who can't afford tutoring. They don't have professional teaching degrees, but they offer what they can, such as time, knowledge, and love. Compassion also plays a central role. Jesus didn't just perform a miracle to show power. He was moved by the needs of the people. He saw not just the crowd, but individuals with stories, struggles, and hunger, both physical and spiritual. In today's fast-paced world, slowing down enough to notice another person's need is itself an act of grace. You might not have 5,000 mouths to feed, but you might know one classmate battling loneliness, one coworker on the brink of giving up, or one elderly neighbor who hasn't had a visitor in months. This story also breaks the myth that we must have much to make a difference. The bull who offered his lunch is often overlooked, yet his simple act of sharing became the seed of a miracle. Too often, we wait for the right time or for more resources, but God uses what is offered now. In faith, your smile, your kindness, your quiet listening, your little initiative, they matter. Lastly, after the miracle, some 12 baskets full of leftovers were gathered. Nothing was wasted. Not the bread, not the effort, not the faith. In a world that often tells us we are not enough, this story reminds us that when we act with compassion, surrender what little we have, and trust the process, God multiplies our smallness into abundance. Let this story inspire us today, not just to believe in miracles, but to be part of them. Offer what you have. Respond with compassion. Trust that your little can become more than enough, because in the hands of God, even the smallest gift can feed a multitude.